from my perspective, the whole process is designed to make people feel tired. It's to it's to grind people down overall. This hasn't this hasn't happened in Western society since the Second World War, which was a grind on society. And I was talking to a friend online, and he said that at the beginning of the health crisis, pandemic, whatever you want to call it, he said at the beginning there were all these voices saying this is right and this is wrong, and everybody was talking and everybody was giving their opinion, and myself included in that. And he said after 3 months there began to be a decline in the number of people rejecting the ideas and protesting against the ideas of how officially to solve the problem. Up to the point where my friend said about 2 months ago, he said, nobody is protesting anymore. Nobody is complaining anymore, at least none of his friends. He said everyone is just tired now. Everyone is tired. Everyone feels ground down, like they don't have much of a say in what is happening. And it's interesting because you sort of expect people to I guess protest is the word, fight back, protest against a lot of what's going on, as there has been a lot of protest throughout history. Yet, this is a very intelligent psychological operation. It's an operation of the British and American governments spent millions of pounds on the psychology of persuading people to wear masks. They had university researchers studying for 2 to 3 years how to persuade people to wear masks. 2 or 3 years. They were studying it before they introduced the mask policy. So they had all the marketing prepared. And they had 2 or 3 years of preparation and study of the best minds in the universities and countries. And the language to use to persuade people. And the way they did it was to persuade people that only serious, I would say in the male characteristic, this is macho, yeah? Masks were presented as being macho. They were presented as you're being a man if you wear a mask. This is what men do. And it was the psychology of human ego. You know, it's like, oh, I don't want people to think I'm not a man. You know, I better man up and do the man thing. Yeah. And so the aim was to make people feel guilty if they didn't wear a mask, to get the macho people, the brave people, to wear the masks, and then to make everyone else feel guilty that they weren't wearing a mask. And it worked very well across society. It worked very well with 80-90% of people. It was much easier to persuade women to do it than men because, well, that's a conversation for a different day. In general, down throughout history, it's much easier to persuade women to do things than men. Men were always the people who said, no. Look at the revolutions, and those movements were always blocked or anticipated or started by male characters there. But it's been very interesting watching the psychology develop and to see, and it's done very, very well. And, you know, it's a shame. It's a shame they didn't spend all that money and resources on something more developmental for society. You know, they spend all this money on getting people to wear masks when I'm pretty sure it could be spent on elements of education, or there must be more important scientific discoveries to make. I don't know, cheaper energy, store new kinds of batteries or something, or harnessing the power of the sun, or there's got to be something that's far more helpful for humanity than how to get people to wear one mask, and then two masks, and then three masks, and then two masks and a face shield, and then a motorbike helmet, and then a big bag. I don't know what else they're gonna put over their heads. And it's interesting watching people watch people. And you can read a lot in people's eyes. You read a lot more from the rest of their face, but you can't see that. But you can read a lot from a person's eyes. So anyway, that is that. We have no power to change that. It is what it is.